Welcome to episode 19 of the Sigma Show. Before I let you know who I'm joined by, real quick, we're just going to go over what our topics for today's show are going to be. First up, PlayStation has hinted, well, rather, they've kind of announced that they will be doing a new version of the PlayStation VR for the PS5. We'll talk about what that could mean and what, we would maybe want from that kind of an experience going forward. As well as Nintendo talking about new hardware, or rather, these are more confirmed rumors. I would like what's a rumor that's like a really good rumor? I don't know what the word is yet. Like Nintendo still hasn't said anything.
A good one.
Just a strong source, basically hinting.
Good source, yeah.
That Nintendo will be releasing a new version of the Switch, and there are some details as to what that will look like. We'll talk about that. And 2021's Pokemon Direct just passed by. We got a bunch of new Pokemon news, a little more exciting than what Nintendo had in their, own particular Direct. And we'll go into details about like what that looks like and what we're excited about or not excited about. But to join me with these conversations, once again, I'm joined by Ash Redux.
Hey, that's me. What's up?
As well as Blue Bones.
It's your boy. What's going on, everybody?
Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here. Let's jump right into things. Lampy, I see you there. Yeah. Using those new emotes as well.
Hey, guys.
So we're going to jump right into things. First up, before we get into the actual topics, we're just going to talk about what we've been playing or watching in the recent week and so. Which one of you guys wants to go first? You have like a short list, long list? What's exciting you right now?
I got it. Okay, so last week, Friday on Free For All Fridays, we did Killer Queen Black, which was a lot of fun. When I first saw that game on Game Pass, I was like, okay, this could be fun for a little bit, and I didn't think it was gonna be as screaming and hollering and laughing as much as it was gonna be, as much as it ended up to be. So yeah, that's been a hoot. I can't wait to do it again this Friday and throughout the week. Yesterday I cracked open Diablo 3 for the first time in a long time. I was playing with DJ and some of the guys from the open party again. That was fun. It kind of reminded me what I liked and got me looking again at Diablo 4. And as far as watching stuff, Jujutsu Kaisen is fire. I haven't watched the latest episode. Yes. Oh my gosh, man. It is. Mwah. It really is. And I know I've said that before, but this one, y'all gotta believe me.
I mean, you also are an advocate for Black Clover. Like you did say it was bad at first, but you're saying it's not anymore.
It's not.
I don't know if I believe that.
What I know, I understand. And, I get it. I've been watching Re:Zero with my cousin, trying to catch up, and I'm in season 2 now. This anime is intense. There's been times where I can only watch one episode every 2 days because it's so heavy. And then there's a couple times where I'm like, oh no, we need to go find out what happens next. It's like every time you get a question, every time you get a question answered, you get like 3 more questions. But you want them answered and you can see them coming. So it's a really interesting, and I wouldn't even call it an isekai. But it's a mind. Not F word. I think it's something else. It's my trip.
So it's intense in terms of like it's subject
Graphic.
Matter, or it's like dark. Like it's like a dark story.
It's dark.
Okay.
It's definitely a dark story. Yeah. It revolves a lot on the premise of death, and the gruesome ways that it can be done, and then how it fits into this whole magical world. It's Re:Zero caught me off guard. They really should put a trigger warning on that thing.
Good to know.
And last but not least, last night I finally watched the sequel to one of my favorite movies in the whole wide world, Coming to America. I watched the second one last night.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say that like, oh, this is the best comedy I've ever seen. I'm saying for a sequel for Coming to America, I loved it. I had to stop a couple times because I was laughing and crying a little bit, but there's a lot of corny scenes. But I love that whole production. I think Eddie Murphy is doing the right thing right now, and it's just so funny how big he is, and he's like, "Screw it, I'll still do these roles." I love it.
I mean,
that's one of his biggest roles, though.
Yeah, it's like that movie sort of kind of made his career, or like it was at the height of his career when he did it. Like it was I think I remember reading the movie itself was kind of a commercial flop, but like culturally, like it's a classic, like for sure. Like I love that movie too.
Almost every reference that they had to the first one. Now there's a lot. I caught almost everyone until like the very end when I was just in the euphoria of the movie, and then they said one. I was like, oh no, I didn't see that one coming. You know, like it was great. If you're definitely,
that's good. I want to check that out. To be honest, I was a little like hesitant to root for that because as much as I love Coming to America, it's steeped in so many African like stereotypes and tropes. Like, so it was like, honestly, in large part, it was a lot of what people used as ammo to make fun of me as like an African, like a first generation Nigerian, like in school growing up. So like, regardless of the fact that I love the movie, like it was ammo to be used against me. And like now that, you know, Black Panther is a thing and Africa is cool again. Like, thank you, Wale. Thank you, Jadena.
Cool again.
Like now that it's cool again, like something like this could possibly set it back. But I don't think that'll be the case. That's just, it's like a little bit of like childhood trauma bubbling up.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I got two movies for you: Cool Runnings and Shot Down. That's all.
I don't care what you say. Cool Runnings is a 100% accurate depiction.
So I know exactly.
No,
what
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I can feel you.
So how about
that's
you,
really
Ash?
what I've been up to. Yeah.
Oh darn, sorry. Think about Cool Runnings. I love that movie.
I love it too. It's a good movie.
Exactly.
But real quick side note, I have also heard that Black Clover gets great after 30 episodes or something like that. So I might just like
it's way
more. Oh my god! All right,
it's 80.
skip it.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. 80, bro.
Coming to America too. I was very interested. I wanted to watch it. I didn't think I was gonna watch it like in theaters or anything though, because I was worried it was gonna not be good. I've actually heard I've only heard from two people so far. You said you liked it and that you were laughing. The other person said they fell asleep. I was like, oh no. I was scared.
They must not have loved the first one. You can like the first one, but if you didn't love the first one, you're not gonna. Yeah,
that's true. I love the first one, so I think I'll be fine. I'm happy that it's on Prime because I happen to have Prime right now, and I hate that sometimes with Prime you still have to pay for stuff, even though you have to have Prime to even do it.
It doesn't make sense.
It's like the Google Stadia model for some things, and I'm like, I don't like that model of subscribing and then still having to pay on top of subscribing. I get it, but I just don't like it personally. So I'm happy it's there. So I'm gonna probably watch it tomorrow or the next day because we just got a new TV with surround speakers in here. So
break it in.
Break it in.
What time we coming over?
I mean, what time you get? All right, come on, podcast. We'll talk about it later. But I've been rewatching all of Naruto because the wife finally decided to watch Naruto.
Okay.
She's in Shippuden. I don't care if this is spoilers because they're on freaking Boruto, and that's after. There's a whole new series after Shippuden. If you still haven't watched it, that's on you. She's in the fourth Great Ninja War, and she just recently found out Madara is different from other Madara. She doesn't know other Madara yet, so I'm gonna say other Madara. And Kurama, the nine-tailed QB, just accepted Naruto fully, so now he has the cloak. That's where she's at. So it's turning up. It's turning way up.
Like
that's what we've been watching.
That is a really strong section for that show.
It is. So we've been watching that.
Arguably the best.
Some people say it should have ended at the pain arc. I'm like, nah, too much good happened after the pain arc for it to end. I get what you're saying.
I agree.
But too much good happened afterwards, so I needed that. But I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses still. I am a beast. Look, hold on.
How you feeling?
This new mouse I got.
Okay.
It in focus.
Kind of blurry. Kind of blurry.
Come on. There
it goes.
New mouse I got with a dedicated sniper button.
That looks like mine.
That looks like cheating.
That looks like mine.
Listen. See?
Okay.
See? I ain't cheating, blue cheating.
Right. You know what I mean?
It's a Corsair one, but I can change the DPI on the fly with a little two cursor button here, and then the sniper button makes it go like super low for tight control, basically.
Yeah,
so it's pretty lit. As soon as I was already doing good with my my PS4 controller and stuff, I got on there with this. You guys, Kiba too. I got on there. Usually I average it like 1.5 to 2, so I do well. All right, I got on here with this mouse. I was hitting 3.6. 4.3s. I was like, I'm just give me that high KD. I feel
pay to win.
Pay to win. Now, as soon as I get a new GPU and I get the frames, frames win games. That's what Nvidia tells me.
It's not. That's true. The high frame rates be helping.
But yeah, so Fire Emblem Three Houses, Call of Duty, and we've been doing that hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Fire Red.
So no one's won yet.
Race. Yeah. No one's won yet. Kiba's very far behind because he had to miss a couple games. Because the whole thing is at 9 on Sunday we start. If you're not there, you're not there.
Yeah, it's your own fault.
That's what makes it a race. I feel like you got to be there. You continue to race. We just don't do it all in one go. So
okay.
So
if you don't clock in, you don't get paid. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it. But yeah, we because of some stuff that was kind of out of his control, personal stuff. We let him try to catch up a little bit off screen. Gave him a little handicap basically. So hopefully he'll be able to. Yeah, we're nice.
We're not
because I already wiped one. I already wiped one time, so technically I'm kind of behind, but I still caught up to the person who's technically in first. So I worked hard. I put in hours. I clocked in. But we let him catch up though, because we didn't want him just to be so far behind. It didn't matter for him to be there.
Right?
So
yeah, you want a competition to be.
We want the competition. Yeah. So
makes sense.
So that's what I've been playing lately.
Cool. I haven't been playing too much. I did stream some Ghost of Tsushima the other day. I was feeling some kind of way about that game early on. It has turned a corner for me. Like I'm much more invested in the story now than I was prior. But I will say it did take a while to get there. There's a couple hours of kind of just generic. We're fighting a war. I need to win the war. I need to rescue my blah blah blah. But luckily, that's just the first act. That that situation resolves, and then it becomes an entirely different story. Like it's a story about ideologies, and then pitting those two ideologies against each other, which is far more interesting than just save my homeland.
I can't wait to be there when you get to the end. Ooh, I
mean, it's genuinely just becoming a much better experience than what it looks like on the surface. I will still say that all of the side activities still don't interest me. Like I don't care. I mean, honestly, I don't get why they're in there. Like they're in there kind of superfluously. Oh yeah, what do you want to add?
Are you in the second part of the map yet? Have you unlocked the second part of the map? There's a lot. Yeah, there's especially there's one quest they talking about where you fight like 5 very special Ronin, and it's very cinematic, it's beautiful, it's great.
I mean, I've come across do that
quest.
1 or 2 of those Ronin fights already.
Okay,
and they're the same as the first Ronin fight. If you catch what I mean, like those boss fights aren't special to me. Like so far, like I want to say I've done like maybe 4 or 5. Like, yes, it's a cinematic camera angle. Like, I like that. Like, it looks cool and flashy, but the mechanics of it are no different than the one that came before. And to me, that's a little disappointing.
They switch up their rhythm.
Sure, like, it's not like the exact same copy-pasted thing, but it's like, okay, now do it, and he can do this now. And it's like, that's the kind of progression I would want to see in a single boss fight. Like the fight starts with him having this set of moves, and once he gets to a certain stage, now he has these sets of moves that you have to adjust to. Like that's the kind of thing that makes the boss fight interesting to me.
All right, keep playing the game then. Keep playing the game.
I'm happy to hear that. They continue to build on that kind of stuff. But yeah, like everything about it, everything outside of just the core progression seems like it's there to pad time, and I don't care about it. So like I'm not following no foxes, I'm not following no birds. If I see a hot spring, it's like cool, but I'm gonna just keep moving to where the gold story thing is. And honestly, I'm enjoying it that way, so like, I don't feel like I'm missing that much.
Hey, you pay your money for it, so you enjoy how you enjoy it, bro.
All right.
You know what? Thank you for the vote of confidence. But yeah, outside of that, I've been watching. I just finished all the seasons that Amazon has to offer of The Expanse. I feel like I talked about this before, but oh my god, that's such a good sci-fi show. Like people have been saying it's like Game of Thrones in space, and they're not wrong. Like honestly, apparently one of the writers used to work as an assistant to George R.R. Martin. So like there's legit lineage from, and like George R.R. Martin has like a quote or something on one of the books. Speaking of which, after finishing the show, I went and bought the book. So like now I'm starting over from the book series, and I really don't read that often, but like the world is so rich. Like it's so interesting. Like I want to know about like all the tech in the world. I want to know about the backstories and histories of all, the different factions and the people. Also I want to know what's different. Like if anything was changed, because the show is really, really good. And just to know that there's like an alternate version of it, like that's how into that world I am right now. Like I'll read the whole thing over just to see like, oh, that's different. Oh, that's different. You know, like that's fun little Easter eggs for me. So like I'm really enjoying it.
To a lesser degree, I get that way with some anime, like Agame ga Kill. I really liked watching it, and then I heard that the manga is different and it goes a lot further, and I'm like, I think I really want to read this as well. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of anime where I get that, but to see that you want it on a scale of this magnitude, I think that's pretty dope. I might have to check out Expanse myself.
Yeah, Lampy's saying comparing it to Game of Thrones in space doesn't do Expanse justice. In my opinion, it's better than Game of Thrones. And Pop also says that I agree. It's so much better.
What?
I'm about to watch that. I didn't even hear about it until you just brought it up. So now I want to.
I mean, I will say,
if he got you to read the book, I want to watch it. If he got you to read a book,
I mean, yeah, like it's really good. Yeah. I think you will enjoy it.
Just finding time to read a book is so much harder than it was when I was in high school. So that's what I meant by that. So
I on your phone and read a book, bro. That'd be stressing me out. I got a couple books I'm trying to read.
Yeah, I bought the e-version and I am reading it on my phone because like opening an actual physical book, like I don't like that idea. But I will say, in terms of the comparison to Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones tells a really, really good story and has really, really good characters. And I just feel like The Expanse is like a step behind in terms of characters, maybe. But the way it's telling its story is probably better. Like it's more succinct. It makes more sense. And honestly, personally, I like sci-fi more than fantasy. And I feel like in the larger scale of things, like in pop culture, fantasy is a little more popular than sci-fi is, generally speaking. Like you get a lot more fantasy things than you do sci-fi things that blow up. So like if you want to get your friends to like pay attention to it, you do have to kind of use that comparison and say, oh, it's like Game of Thrones, but it's in space, because space will be the thing that makes them go like, I don't care about it, versus, oh, it's like Game of Thrones, all right, maybe I'll check it out.
I think that's because people with fantasy stuff, you can like replicate that easier in the real world, as far as the looks and all that stuff, than you would with like space tech and
well, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it costs more money to like make a space thing good.
I wonder
and you can relate more to something that looks like it's in the past rather than something that looks like it's in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say that on top of it's easier for people to just follow the concept of how does that work? Magic versus how does that work? Explains technology that doesn't exist. So some people are just like too much for me.
But it makes sense. Stuff, like it's technology like based on actual things that could make sense. You know, it's like it's forward thinking stuff. Like one thing that I really love about the show, and this will be like my last tangent before we go on to like the proper topics, is like when you watch like spaceships like in TV shows like flying all over the place and whatnot. The Expanse tells you like, there's G-force involved. Like, we can't do crazy maneuvers without everything in the ship or all the people in the ship flying all over the place or people nearly dying because we're going like Mach 25 or something. Like, that's a key plot point, and it comes up every single time ships have to do things like that. And they make it important, and they make you consider it. And they make it part of the story, and like, that's really cool to me.
This might be a hot take, but I think, judging off what you're saying, I don't know if you have already, but you might enjoy Battlestar Galactica.
There's a chance I would, but that show's kind of old, and I worry that I might have missed the window to like get sucked into it before all of it is kind of like dated to me.
I think it still holds water today if you watch it.
All right. I mean, is it anywhere that I could find it easily, or would I have to like buy a box set?
I think it's on Amazon.
I think it's on Amazon actually.
Is that the newer one, or like which one are you suggesting? Like whatever the most late. Okay, yeah. I might try that one out. Yeah, Tommy is saying the same thing in the chat.
And right before you,
thank you everybody, thank you.
All right. I will check out Battlestar Galactica at some point.
And real quick, I just want to say this too. If you ever want to read something based off of something you watched, anybody liked what's that movie called with Will Smith and
Gemini?
And when he was when he was the last guy on Earth.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. I couldn't think of it for a second. The book is actually very, 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 very good.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I didn't know it was based off of a book, and I was just when I was in the library one day, I just saw a book say I Am Legend, and it was like what the movie's based off of. I was like, oh, cool. Read it. it makes it because there's like basically things that they obviously just cut to put in the movie. Where it's like, oh, that's what these things are. I thought they were zombies. Wait, what? They actually do what in the book, but they don't do that in the movie? Oh, that's crazy!
So entirely different story.
Yeah. Just look. They're vampires and they actually talk and they terrorize them at night. But he makes it so they can't. He blocks them from getting into his home by setting stuff up. But they'll be outside his home because they know there's a human in there and they'll be terrorizing him, shouting things at him. He blasts the music so he can't hear him. There's like psychological warfare going on, and
that
it's
is
awesome.
Completely different,
dude. And the dog shows up very quickly as the only companion that he has. It dies even quicker. It's sad, but I love it. I'm sorry, it's so good. I'm sorry. The book is great. And the reason it's called I Am Legend is very different from what you think too. That's
the movie really didn't explain why it was called I Am Legend, to be honest.
No, the book does, and you're like, that's so good. All right, go.
All right, well, we'll wrap up what we've been watching, playing, etc., and we'll move into our first topic. First up on the list, Sony has basically announced that they are planning to make a new VR headset for the PlayStation 5. Not too many details about that. I don't think we have any hardware specifications at all. But
no.
Also, like, why even mention it then at this stage? Like, that's partly my question. Like, why does Sony want to get out there and say that this is the thing that's coming? Like, what are you guys' thoughts?
I think Sony likes teasing its fans in the media. They just like, you know what? Remember when they just changed the logo for PS5 and there's like, that's the news. Like,
that's the news.
Real man, come on, you guys told us nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Themselves,
I think they like that. I think they
feel
like
themselves
that.
A lot. It's like we Sony, we
so you think it's a hubris thing?
Yeah, because they're not like this tells us nothing, right? It just says that
it is kind of a nothing announcement.
And it's VR. Like, you've had VR before. Cool story, bro. We assumed that you was gonna bring it forward. Like, they're pretty much saying like we're still in the race. Like, okay, cool. What else? I don't know. That's. I feel like it's Sony hubris.
Well, Dark Tommy has a quick question. He says, "You guys use VR regularly?" I do not know.
I don't at all. I want to, but I don't have one.
I'm hoping to get what is it? An Oculus in the near future. But I need the space. Like, I need to rearrange some stuff. Like, once I get my office set up, which could be months from now, could be a year from now, I don't know. But once I get my office set up, that's probably one of the first bigger purchases I'll do. Is like I'll get like a headset for that purpose. Yeah. But Ash, your VR thoughts, PlayStation VR thoughts.
Well, I mean, I remember when they put out when they released like the patents that were coming out for the new PlayStation VR, at least what people assumed it was, because it looked like a PlayStation VR unit. Mm-hmm. So, I figured it was coming, and it made sense to better hardware for the console, better hardware for the VR system to work with that, whatever. I don't know what I want from it necessarily. I don't, because like I said, I want to get into VR. My whole time though, I was like, if I get into VR, I kind of want like high tier VR. I don't know why. It's not just because I'm bougie or anything. I just really was like, if I want to get into VR, I want to like really be like
you want the experience to be worth it. Like,
I want it to be worth it. I want it to be, which is basically like getting what is it, the Vive or whatever.
Yeah, like that was pretty much the best version of VR, right? Yeah.
But all I know to me, because what did the old PS is it like retail at 200 when it came out? Is that right? Or was
I think when it launched, it was like a full $400. Like, I don't think it's that much anymore.
Okay.
I mean, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but like PlayStation VR, the first version was like 400 when it first launched, right?
If that's the case, because all I know is the Oculus Quest 2, which is like Oculus, like, all-in-one VR, you don't need cables or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is very beneficial to a lot of people. And I don't think you need a PC, right? I think it's literally just
it's like a standalone thing. Yeah.
And I'm sure you can't like do everything in it, but I think you can still play most of the VR games with it too. So it's like, if I can get that all in one, don't need a PS5 or a PS4 to play it, and it's like $299, I think, retail, it's gonna have to compete with that for me. Like, I know there's obviously games on PlayStation that's not gonna be on the Oculus Quest that I could play in VR. I get that. It's gonna basically be, some exclusives. But all in one for $299, they try to charge me an extra $100-$200, and I also don't have a PS5, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get that. I'm not gonna buy a PS5 just to get PlayStation VR. That's not going to make me get a console for that. I get it for a different reason. There's not any games on the PS5 right now, for real. Anyway, so there's no point. Like they're not in stock. There's not enough games. There's no point. So the price wanted to be low.
It's hard to get excited about something like this when it's so early in this console's life cycle.
Right. So, right. And I don't know when they plan on releasing it, but if it came out this year, I would literally see no point in the purchase. I barely see the point in the PS5, and I'm a techie. I want to play Ghost of Tsushima in 60 frames per second because that just sounds great. A steady 60 frames per second, that's how it's supposed to be played. A game like that where your timing is important, 60 frames per second, it would actually mean a difference to me. So, but I'm not gonna buy a PS5 to play a game I already beat. Not gonna happen.
Tommy in the chat was saying, to me, VR is more like a county fair extravaganza. It's WoW for an hour, and then you just don't want to see it up close. It's nothing that special.
Set it up.
Oh, you don't want to set it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's set it up.
Oh, you don't want to set it up just because. Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
I mean, the Oculus Quest 2 requires no setup other than you put it on your head and you press some, the usual yes and no stuff in the beginning of turning on tech. So
like I 100% understand that it's a very novel experience now. Like the only times I have had VR experiences is like I went someplace, like I was in a Microsoft store and I played some demos there. I think there was some VR stuff at that convention in DC. Blue and I was at.
We went to Otakon, met up with Urban Anime Lounge there, and that was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, like Beat
Sabers.
Yeah, like it's a fun experience, but yeah, it's kind of like a amusement park ride or arcade experience.
Yeah, you're right.
In those contexts, I'm still very much excited about the potential for what VR could be and what it could do and how it could add to video games. So, on the one hand, I am happy that Sony hasn't abandoned it. It did seem at first like they were like, oh, well, the PlayStation VR still exists. You can use it on your PS5, but only on PS4 games. Like, they're not making any PlayStation 5 games that take advantage of it at all. Like, that was a little disappointing at first. But for them to say, oh, we're still going to make stuff is encouraging. It means, like, there's still some momentum in that market, which means, and honestly, the longer they continue to iterate on it, the better the experiences will be. The lower the price point will be so that more people can basically get into it and start experiencing it. And maybe eventually it'll be less of a sideshow and more of like a core experience. I know a lot of people were really hyped about Half-Life Alyx, which is pretty much a VR experience and is only best experience with like the index gloves that have all the individual finger controls and stuff. That's something I want to experience, but like it's way out of my price range right now.
Right. So niche. Like you're buying it just for that. You know what I mean? So essentially it's not a $60 game. It's a 100 and whatever.
500 and
you know what I mean? Low key $1,000 for like the high end HTC Vive or whatever it is. That's like $1,000.
And that's not even counting the PC that's attached to it all.
Right.
That's
and
all
Lampy,
that game. You know what I mean?
And Lampy kind of said what I said earlier about there being limited support on the Oculus Quest 2. Basically saying like, you want to play that popular game? Sorry, we don't have that. But please give all your data to Facebook to continue. Then that's what I figured. I'm like, if it's all in one, and usually you need a decent PC even to just play some of these VR games, I figure it won't do a lot. So, but yeah, for me, the only games I play on VR is Half-Life Alyx and like, what's that game called? Super Hot? Those will probably be the only two games.
Yeah, Super Hot in VR was actually fun. I remember playing that a while back.
Like, that's all I want to play, and I'm not going to get a whole setup just for those two games.
So, in general, it does sound like we're all kind of lukewarm on Sony having VR news. Like, I guess the consensus is we're not ready for it yet.
I don't care about it yet. So, I don't know if I'm not ready, but it's like PlayStation VR came out, and it did its thing, I guess. Like
I mean, people bought it. Yeah,
they did buy it, and I've played it before. It's all right, you know. But I'm not hyped for the newest iteration of it, especially when I get a message that has nothing, just saying we're gonna have it, and it's a long ass letter saying, excuse me, it's a long letter saying we're gonna have it. That's really what it says.
Yeah, kind of. So, but I mean, in terms of actual, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And they tried to like spice it up. You see through all the BS, they try to spice it up. One of the newest innovations that we're gonna have a separate controller. Well, yeah, if you're gonna keep up with anything today, you're gonna have a separate controller. Like,
yeah, that kind of
good job on you, bro.
That kind of brings me to my next point. Is like how like in comparison to like the other options, how technologically advanced do you think it would need to be, or would you want it to be for you to kind of get excited about it? Because in the previous generation, PlayStation VR was the lowest buy-in version of this sort of experience, right?
Unless
like
you already had like a Samsung phone and you just put a in the
Samsung yeah, sure. Like those experiences did exist.
Those. I have those in my closet right now.
The Google Cardboard, hey, that's literally a box that you can buy for $5. You know what I'm saying? Get a full VR experience, man.
No, you're right. Yeah, those do
lenses
exist
from Zeiss.
But in terms of like full length game experiences, you had games. Like PlayStation VR, you had Oculus, and you had Vive, right? Sony was in third place in terms of the quality of their tech. Do you think a new version of this could maybe bump them up a couple levels in regards to the competition?
I'll let Blue, because I already started saying stuff earlier.
I'm gonna tell you what would get me hyped for PlayStation VR, right? And this is gonna sound a little bit off of left field, especially after all this trash I've been talking, right? It has to look good. Specifically, it can't look like a mech on my head. All right, there's been I don't know if you remember a couple weeks back, Apple had some they talked about their whole VR initiative, and there was some concept art about some like really thin looking visors. They almost look like snow, you know like those snow goggles, but like really thin. Anyway, there's some really cool pictures, and I'm like, you know what, if it looks good and I don't look like I'm hooked up to the Matrix, I'll be more inclined to beep bop, easy setup, let's go, let's play. And of course, a good price tag.
The price tag is going to be important.
Yeah.
And let's not even go down the rabbit hole of availability, because who knows what that's going to be like.
Yeah. The worst part, no. I'm gonna tell you, this is the thing, right? I could get a PlayStation VR set. I bet you before I can get a PS5. Bet money. I can get that.
I mean, yeah, I would think so too. Because like we said, I don't think everybody wants it. So I'm surprised they're focusing that much. So that's the question: will they focus that much into the development of their new PS VR headset in hopes that people will get it, or will they? Because I don't know the numbers. I'm not gonna act like I know numbers, but I highly doubt that the regular PS VR headset was like a massive sales boom. I don't know. That in my mind, I don't think it would be. I mean, maybe someone could tell me otherwise, that the PSVR headset like sold well to Sony standards. Like,
I do think it did sell well. Like, I don't know if it like, I don't think it like broke records or anything. Right. But it
did it keep retention though? Even to
that I don't know, because the games that they had for, like, they had a couple of like exclusive games for just the PlayStation VR, and then it kind of like over time, as the console was ending its life cycle, they kind of stopped talking about some of the VR stuff as if they were moving away from it. So that's kind of that's partly why this is such a surprise. That they're like, hey, we're gonna do it over again. We're gonna have more VR stuff. We're gonna get a proper controller this time, because they did kind of half-ass the last one. They took the Move controllers from the stupid PlayStation camera to be your VR controllers. They're like,
you mean the Sailor Moon ones?
Yeah.
Was it wired? Was it a wired VR headset?
Yeah, the headset was wired to the actual console. The controllers, I think, are free from wires and whatnot. Bluetooth. But and this new version, I think the only tech detail they gave was that it would probably also have a wire attached to it. Like, it wouldn't be like a completely wireless.
Yeah, they're not trying to do an all-in-one VR to work with your PS5. They want to use that hardware that's in there. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's. I hope it does well. But if anything in the world makes sense, we won't hear anything about this for like another 3 years at the latest.
Yeah, and then it's just gonna be the logo.
But you'll have to have a VR headset to see it. Lampy with some stats says 5 million units as of January 2020. So they have sold a bunch of those things.
Wait, but when did it release? 5 million since when it came out might not be a lot. Like, I mean,
that is a lot in terms of consoles.
Well, I mean, as of January 2020.
Yeah, so about a year.
Okay, yeah, 5 million a year. I thought it was like 5 million since it released for a second.
No, as of that time period, January 2020, which was last year, they sold 5 million from its release. I can't remember when it released, but that's like 5 million total. I don't think that's not a small number, in all honesty. Like, if you sell 5 million,
I mean, it's not.
You sell 5 million game copies in the span of a couple years, like, that's a big success. So to do that with consoles, especially a niche console like this, I think they'd be happy. Yeah, Lampy says it makes it the best sold VR setup. So yeah, so they outsold the other people in their camp. Probably because it was the cheapest.
Because it was cheapest, yeah. And everything else that before needed a PC, and most people...
Yeah, more people would have had a PS4.
More homes had PS4s,
right. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Install base matters. Install base does matter.
Honestly, that's getting me thinking now. This announcement may have been specifically for shareholders. Because it's like, this is a piece of hardware that when released made us a bunch of money over a period of time. So letting shareholders know that we're going to repeat this at some point in the future is just good business. And so it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. They just needed to get those shareholders to kind of get excited about something.
And tickle their fancy.
Yeah, because as you can see from my reaction and some of ours, this was not for consumers.
Yeah, like there's literally no information there for anyone to really go off on.
And the folks that don't know, they're like, "Oh wow, innovating new VR control. What controllers? This incorporate key features. What DualSense wireless? What?" And they just losing their minds, right? And we're like, "What?" He's saying the same thing. I feel you. I feel you.
And Lampy does point out that the original announcement was in GQ's UK magazine. So
we're reading it off the PlayStation blog.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's worse.
They announced it in GQ, and then the blog kind of just follows up. So yeah, like clearly that's showing you who their audience is. It's not the hardcore. It's kind of a more broader, casual appeal they're looking for. So that makes a lot of sense. But anything else on PlayStation VR before we move on to the next hardware story?
Sony hubris is real. That's my
I'm a second what Blue said.
I agree. So okay. Speaking of new hardware, Nintendo has had information sort of leaked, sort of confirmed, seemingly.
A credible source. That's what we were trying to say earlier.
Like Bloomberg reported last year, like the rumors about this have been going on for a very long time. So like folks know it's coming. But we now know that this new Nintendo Switch is supposedly going to have 4K resolutions when it's docked, as well as an OLED screen. It'll still have 720p resolution in the handheld mode, but 4K Switch when you hook it up to your TV. Like, they're going to need a new model to do this sort of thing. How do you guys feel about possibly buying a new Switch in the future?
I'm gonna let you go first if that's okay.
I feel like I'm going to buy a new Switch in the future if my one today here breaks. Like, inexplicably. Not saying that this isn't a cool upgrade, but I think it's a little too late for that. For me, at least, and I'm sure for a lot of families, it's a little too late. Now, for the folks that have been super patient and have that high defense against FOMO, hey, here's your reward. That's how I feel about it. I think it's cool. But there's no way I'm picking this up just to upgrade a Switch that I don't play a whole bunch of games on. I use it and I love it, but I don't need to see Nintendo games in 4K.
That is a really good point. Tommy is kind of in the same camp. He says 4K just to enjoy the crisp textures of Pokemon Sword.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess for the third parties, maybe, they do got Witcher 3 and what other big AAA third party titles they got on there.
That's true. There's a lot of porting going on for games that should not run on that console. Like, there's no business for some of those games to be on that console, but they're forcing them on there because it sells so well. So do we think that this will also come with some sort of a hardware bump? Like,
it's got to.
I mean, it would. I guess it would have to because it's outputting 4K textures. So that would mean that it could run stronger, better games that the previous Switch wouldn't. Would that be enough? If, say, a new first-party game or some other third-party ports can run on Switch Pro, let's call it, but will not run on regular Switch. Would that be enough to get you to fork over some money for a newer console?
If once I bought that, I get a library of games, because I'm gonna have to buy games after that. You know what I mean?
Or Nintendo we're talking about. I mean, it'll be your library of games, probably, like whatever you already bought.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, whatever I really, really want to play, and those serious games that aren't the Nintendo standards, I got my Xbox for that, or I got my PlayStation for that. I'm not looking to the Switch to handle my heavy gaming. That's how I feel.
How about you, Ash?
All right, so I literally just bought this Switch. Just bought this. Hey, it's beautiful though. It's all real.
It's a real good looking Switch.
Yeah. It is a good. Hold on. The dock is red too. I know it's blurry, but the dock is all red too. It's
nice.
It's the Mario one that I was like, I'm about to get a Switch, and the Mario edition was about to come out, so I might as well get the Mario edition. Whatever. Red's my favorite color anyway. Give me all red.
There you go.
But I just bought this Switch, and as I was buying it, I was like, Nintendo's either going to make a Switch Pro or whatever, or they're going to come out with the Legend of Zelda themed Switch for the 35th anniversary. Either way, I'm going to want it. What am I about to do? Because I want this Switch now. I've waited 2 years to play Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's been in my closet for 2 years. So I was like, I'm going to just bite the bullet. So I saw this. One, I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. I almost don't want it to be true. Two, I don't know. I've never seen Nintendo be one to try to push for the current standard for like most people think. So like Sims a 4K is not something I expected Nintendo to push for, unless they're about to go into VR more serious for their Switch, but they're not because it's on 720p still for the screen. So that's what I don't get. I'm like, if anything, I would have rather they could have still kept it 1080p. Make it also that the screen's 1080p and just make it powerful enough that I can keep a stable 60 frames per second for all of their games. If that's all I needed for my Switch, and not even because I'm usually a big of a heckler for frames per second. Mm-hmm. It's just that even for some games, like if I'm playing Breath of the Wild, it still versus the Wii U version, it still has some frame drops. You know what I'm saying? They've delayed the game purposefully just so they could put it on the Switch on their newer console alongside the Wii U, and it still had some frame rate issues, you know. So I just wanted to not have frame rate issues. And still look good.
The original Breath of the Wild, like if you look at it today, especially in comparison to some of its copycats, like
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, Genshin Impact or the Phoenix Rising, whatever the hell that game's called. Like it's such a blurry, like foggy landscape. Like it's beautiful. Right. It's just not as beautiful as its contemporaries now. Like it looks dated. And we'll talk about this, I guess, in our final topic. But like even some of the newer games, because that game is old. It was a Wii U game when it launched. Some of the newer games that are using open world environments don't look much better. Like it really is a limitation of that hardware. So like if Nintendo does release a new 4K console and they're like, okay, this is what Breath of the Wild 2 looks on this, and then it looks how Breath of the Wild 1 looks on the old system, because I can't imagine that they'll do that thing where they partition games like, oh, this is a brand new console generation. Like I doubt it for Nintendo.
Yes, I don't think it's a new generation either. I think it would just be the pro version ish.
But like, yeah, if some of those games can look that much better, I think I will feel that tug to get new hardware, because I want the best version of the experience. And like, it is gonna matter greatly how much it costs. Like, and again, I don't think Nintendo's gonna want to go over what the original Switch costs. So like, we'll probably get a price reduction on the old model of the Switch, and then this new Switch will probably just take over that $300 or maybe $350 price point, like $350 max, I would think.
Mm. And two quick things. I agree with Lampy saying that HDR would be even better than 4K. I would prefer HDR and like stable frame rate over 4K any day. And also for Darth 2. I don't worry. I feel like most of us care more about like the actual gameplay of the game. Like, is the game actually fun? I just meant sometimes it breaks the immersion for games that are meant to immerse you. When I just see for a quick second, I'm like, oh well, okay, I guess we're fine.
Yeah. Oh, it is a game. You know. Oh, it is.
It is a game. It is a all right. That's all. But yeah, that hopefully it's not too high of a price thing. I'm sure GameStop will screw me and be like, yeah, you can trade in your Switch for this extra credit towards it. And I'll be like, no, I'm just going to keep it and find a way to pay for it. Even if it's 30 frames per second, I just like a game to not drop frames. Especially if it drops from 30. If it's locked, it's supposed to be at 30 frames and it gets below 30, that's atrocious. At least if it drops below 60 a little bit, it's like, whatever. Sometimes you don't even notice it.
You try. You know what I mean?
But if it drops below 30, your eyes it sees that bad. And I forget what game it was. Some games even got this like single digits sometimes on the Switch. I remember someone talking about it, but I can't remember what games it was. it'll drop down as low as single digits sometimes.
I can't imagine a Nintendo made game would do that, but probably some of those third party ports are like struggling to run. Like, because like Fortnite is not super graphically intensive, but on the Switch, that console struggles, I think, sometimes. Like it's a big file for the Switch, which doesn't have a ton of internal memory to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I feel like the other console, like we're in a brand new console generation, and the Switch was weaker than everything in the previous generation. So like they have to do something to try and keep up, at least on the third party side. Like they have to do something.
But Nintendo's never cared about keeping. That's why it's like I don't know. They never care about keeping up.
You make a good point.
Yeah, Nintendo's been in their own game for the longest time. That's why, like,
and they know they can. That's why they don't care.
That's the thing. Like, where else y'all gonna play Mario? So we gonna do what we gonna do, and you gonna do what you gonna buy it when we put it out, regardless. You gonna eat what I put on your plate, and it doesn't matter how I cook it. And that's the way Nintendo's been doing this for years.
All right, Grandma.
I'm just saying, but that's old Nintendo, just been serving us what they want. And it's a little disrespectful at this point. We go ahead and figure it out.
Especially with Pokemon games, in my opinion. But I ain't gonna talk about it.
Sigma, that might be your segue.
That might be your segue.
But I just want to call attention to Lampy's comment real quick. He says it was weaker, still sold crazy well though.
Crazy.
And it's because Nintendo has kind of occupied this area of being a secondary console. Like if you either you don't care about video games, you want to play some stuff, this is the cheapest option and it has stuff that you recognize, or you do care a lot about video games, so you're going to get an Xbox or a PlayStation, and then you're going to get a Nintendo Switch because it's cheap and it has all the stuff you love. So like they're kind of playing both
the portable
sides.
Factor is lit. I don't leave my house right now, but I'm not gonna act like if I was like younger and actually had free time, because when I leave my house I have to do something because I'm an adult and it sucks. But but let's be honest, if you were like when I was in if I was sitting on a bus, I'd be having the time of my life with my Switch all the time. Like
I would miss my stop regularly.
Like, oh crap, I gotta walk. Well, I guess I'll walk the 20 minutes back to my house. I can play my Switch. Like I'm just like, you know, usually people say Nintendo has gimmicks. I felt like the Switch, this thing, I wouldn't call it a gimmick. I felt like easily being able to go from TV to portable and seamlessly keep playing that same game. All that is really nice. I love it.
No one else is really doing that.
Yeah, and most of them are out the portable game too. Like
because they lost horribly to Nintendo.
So it's like
Nintendo beat them out of it. They're like, this is our corner.
So I don't know. I feel like that's what it should focus on, is more making the portable experience better and just making sure that the home experience is solid. So that's why I think making a 1080p screen, it says the screen would be a little bit bigger. I don't care if the scr's a little bit bigger or not. I think the screen size is fine right now.
I don't use mine in handheld pretty much at all. So
see, that's but the fact that if I could, like, if the wife's watching TV and I'm not really into whatever she's watching, and I'm just, we said, we still being together, but I'm like here playing the Switch or whatever, it's nice,
Right.
So it's just making that 1080p smooth frame rate. I don't care what it is, if it's 30 or 60, just smooth frame rate. Work on that, and then add HDR if you want for dock support, which is still cool. Like I'm fine with that too, because HDR is nice.
I don't know if I'll be
able to. New TV with the HDR in it.
I mean, just hit that base level, catch up to what everybody else is doing, please, Nintendo, please, and then hire somebody to work on your internet. But that's a whole other story.
Right. Can I ask a quick question about this?
Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the things that they highlighted in the article was the OLED, right?
Mm-hmm.
I looked Samsung.
Organic light emitting diode, right? I know an LED, but what's the organic part of this? They just using like cheaper materials, or what's going on?
No, it's a Samsung screen. They're supposed. Even Apple phones use Samsung screens, so Samsung must be doing something right with Samsung screens, right? At this point, with their OLED.
I assume what they mean by organic is that the light that it emits is natural looking versus like
that's stupid. Okay.
That's stupid.
Like what they're saying is like the colors look more real versus like
gotcha.
Like an artificially lighted image or something.
I ask questions because I don't know, and getting answers from your friends is sometimes better than Google.
But okay, on that note, we're moving to our final topic. Nintendo, or rather, Game Freak had a Pokemon Direct. They gave us a bunch of new information. Some stuff that fans were very excited about got announced, and some stuff that people wanted from the last big Pokemon game was announced. Namely, an actual open world Pokemon game. At least that's what it looks like on the surface. We've been fooled before. I know Ash is a super big Pokemon fan. I really want to get your take first on the Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl stuff. Like, what is your take on a new Pokemon Diamond and Pearl?
Have you trying to compose himself?
Yeah, right. He got to get his life back together.
I'm sorry. Did you ask me or Blue?
No, I asked you.
That was all you.
Like,
all right.
We'll start with Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl. Like,
yeah.
Have you played the original game? Are you excited about this remake?
Gen 4 was the last gen I actually like really delved into. So I actually can't talk extensively on this one. Don't worry, I won't talk extensively on it, but I could.
I can, but I won't.
So here's my thing. First of all, I know a lot of people are very split on the look. I don't mind the look on the overworld. I hate the look during the battles, to be specific. The overworld looks like they just basically wanted to keep the same look that they had originally, and then make it like in the 3D sprites. So for almost like a remaster, less of a remake kind of thing. Honestly, when I look at it, which is still fine with me, I guess it's not horrible to me for the overworld. I thought it would be different though, but either way, I'm not too torn on it. It's mostly when they get into battles. And I look at those character models, and I'm like, why do they almost look flat? There's no color. There's no edge, no anti-aliasing, not even an outline over the characters.
They snatched their edges off.
Listen, and their faces the faces look so derpy and bland. I'm like, let's go Pikachu and Eevee character models in battle and during the cutscenes that they had too, because they had cutscenes in it a little bit. People didn't like the art style, which is fine. That's fine if you don't like the art style. But for just looking at it, I'm like, the game looks clean, right? Like the game still looks clean though. This doesn't look clean at all. Not in the battles anyway. So I don't know. But in the overworld, I remember I was watching. I was like, okay, this is not what I expected, but still fine. And then they showed like the little water when they were near the lake in the beginning. I was like, that water actually looks really nice.
Yeah, Nintendo's always been pretty good at pulling off water.
I don't know how they do it, but it just really like the water. So
that's a weird observation, because I've never been disappointed by the water before. I'm thinking about it now.
All over Nintendo. It's not even the same developers. Like Game Freak is separate from Nintendo technically, and it's still like
they just got watered down pat.
Listen, Nintendo calls like that water better look nice. That water better look good.
We're gonna send you our water guy.
By water. That's what they said. Japan is surrounded by water. You know what it looks like. Make it look good. But yeah, they're I'm sure they're still polishing it. You know, like Lampy said, they got time before it comes out. But I just wanted to show them how it looked. Like if it was me, I wouldn't have shown that. Personally, I would have waited until the models looked better to show it. But I still overall.
I got a question quick on that. What if you knew that people's gonna buy it regardless, like Nintendo does?
Like Nintendo knows, yeah.
Would you just show it?
Which is why I think it won't look any different from what it looks like as they just showed it. I don't think it'll look any different because I don't remember.
Yeah, I lean towards that. Like Nintendo's like, this is fine.
I don't remember a single time they've shown a Pokemon game trailer and the game looks different from what they've shown. No matter how early they showed the trailer, I never remember it looking any different at all. So I don't think it's going to look any different. Do I want to buy it?
Are you saying you won't buy it?
Oh, I won't buy it? Honestly, I might actually not. Actually, I looked at it. I was like, oh, like I said, Gen 4 is the last gen that I really put time into. I skipped Gen 5. I got Sun and Moon, and I got turned off pretty early on. I wasn't even saying it was bad. I couldn't get into it. I was like, all right, I'm done. I think I didn't do anything. I'm not even saying it's bad. I couldn't. Okay.
What you're describing right now is Nintendo's hold on a lot of gamers, because your biggest draw is nostalgia. Yeah. Your biggest draw to this game is nostalgia.
Like, and you loved Diamond and Pearl. A lot of us. This is Diamond and Pearl. So
I want to play it.
You willing to make the sacrifice for
what I need from them?
Crappy game.
What I need from them is because during the thing they said it's a faithful, faithful remake. which is fine, which is why I understood the art style that they went for in the overworld to still look very similar to that original game, just in a 3D version, like a modern version of sprites. Mm-hmm. You know, it's 2021, sprites in 2021. It's basically like going from hand-drawn animations to CGI. That's kind of what it is. It's a little weird period because people are like, it looks a little different than I expected. So that's what I feel like. But overall, though, I need them to add something, because like all the other remakes, when it's like there's more to it than just the vanilla game from way back in the day. I need to know what the more to it is. If I don't like what's more, I'm not gonna buy it.
That's a very good point too, because they do always add that little extra social factor in, you know what I mean? Or like you can battle in a different way. You can do these AI kind of battle, or you know, you can do grooming in a certain way. Another like slice of life into this is gonna draw more people to want to pick it back up on top of the nostalgia draw.
Even for Fire Red Leaf Green, there's 7 freaking islands that you did. Like in the middle of the game, you do 3, and then after you beat Elite Four, there's 4 more islands that unlock with more stuff to explore, and that's where like all the non-Kanto Pokemon were, which makes more sense on why are these new Pokemon randomly in Kanto now when they weren't there before, and it's a remake, so technically it's still the same person that I played before. So they're like, yeah, go to the 7 islands. Hey, what up, Jeff? Go to the 7 islands, catch all this stuff. Moltres was on there instead of where it was supposed to be originally. I'm like, that's cool. They changed some stuff around.
Yeah, little nods and things to help differentiate it from the people who are diehard and who know every inch
and who already played it. Yeah. Like, I need something more. So it's cool. Like, so I need to see what the more is, basically. Once I see the more, I'll determine if I buy it or not.
I feel that. Yeah,
because I personally am not the audience for any previous gen remake. Like, I don't care. I played one version of these Pokemon games. I did enjoy it. I liked it a lot, but all the ones after that are very much so the same experience. I don't need a remake of that experience.
You should still play Fire Red or Leaf Green. It was their first remake, and I still think it's their best remake. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a banger when those dropped.
But what I think Nintendo may have burned me personally as a possible consumer, because I got excited about the prospect of there being a new Pokemon game, like a new kind of Pokemon game with Sword and Shield.
Yes.
And it wasn't. It was very much more of the same. They just kind of poured a little bit more energy and money into the world, like just making it look a little bigger, making it look a little different than it used to. But it's the same concept and the same progression, and the open world type stuff was kind of a gimmick in that game. And now
cyberpunked.
I wouldn't say that exactly, because I did like what I was playing of the game, but very quickly I realized this is the same game that I know, and like kind of lost interest. Now that they're talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus, which sounds like the thing we all thought Sword and Shield was supposed to be, now I'm super skeptical. Now I'm like, well, is this actually the thing that I think it's going to be? Or is it another half step? Like, is it now they have a mini game where you walk in the grass and you throw a Pokeball to catch a Pokemon versus, you know, the same old animation that they usually have, and that's the only thing that's different. Like, I don't know. Like, I would have to wait probably a considerable amount of time to see kind of how this shapes up. And if it is actually as big and expansive. Like, I mean, what do you guys think? Are you excited for Legend of Pokemon or Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is supposedly Arceus is how you say it. Okay. Which is supposedly finally an open world Pokemon game.
I prefer saying Arceus, but that's incorrect, so I try to say it right. It's okay. I think Arceus sounds better, flows. Go ahead, Blue.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me, but I guess it's Arceus. I'm not a Pokemon expert.
Sigma, you had a really you made a really good point. You know, this has to be something different. It can't be the same play style, right? Keep the same theme, keep the world, give us something different. If they did this similar to Destiny's model, where let's say you can't have 1 million Pokemon, you can maybe only hold 12, right? 6 on you, 6 in the bank, or something like that. And you have to go out there. You have gym battle events, live world stuff. I'm not saying necessarily go MMO. I love MMO, right? And that's what a lot of us really want.
Yeah, something with more multiplayer aspects involved would definitely sway me.
Yeah, and they tried it with Sword and Shield with with some of the group battles and stuff, but it's all the same thing. So I feel like if you're gonna do something different, you have to you can't give me this 4 skills in the tall grass, same animation from one Pokemon to the next of cut. You know what I mean? It can't be the same thing. I need every Pokemon fleshed out. Every Pokemon using the tail that they got because they're that Pokemon. You know, different things like that. You know, it's just frustrating when you see the same thing over and over and over. You have, was it Hitmonchan is the punching one, or is it Lee? I can't remember.
It's Chan. Hitmonchan is the punch.
Thank you, Professor Oak. So it's just like, you know, when you see a Mach Punch from Hitmonchan, you don't want to see the same animation from some other stupid Pokemon.
From Machoke using
Mach Machoke, yeah, because they need to look different. I want to. If Machoke Mach punches me, I need to see all 4 hands. Blow, or Machamp, excuse me.
Machamp, you got it.
I want to see Blow for a Mach Punch. It can still do the same damage, but I want to see it. I want to see him be him. I don't want to see the same. I want to see the with Chan. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Pokemon have to be different. They have to not just look different. They have to act different.
That's the animations have to match.
The animations have to match the Pokemon.
Did anything in the trailer make you feel like that's the direction they're leaning, or did it look like more of the same?
Right now, I don't trust them to do anything different yet. I need to see a lot more. So I didn't want to make a judgment because be bamboozled, like we were with Sword and Shield.
Right, because the shot that they had where like the trainer is walking in the grass and like they're aiming, like they have to aim and throw a Pokeball. I'm like, that's different.
They're sneaking around too.
Yeah, they snuck around. They did a combat roll into the grass, went crouched like, all right.
But like, is that different enough? Because like based on this track record, because Nintendo made a big deal of this open, expansive world and whatnot, and then when you got the game, it's like, oh, it's kind of a side thing. You go in there in between you going and doing the actual game, right? Like, it makes me feel like this could be another one of those okie dokes where it's like, oh well, here's a place where you can throw Pokeballs to catch Pokemon, but the rest of the game is the way it's always been because that's what the main fan base is into. Like, I do think because of how well this game, this franchise sells, they don't want to do that big a change, or if they maybe are, or maybe if they want to, they can only experiment with it with these kind of tiny one-off increments of gameplay changes, you know, but the rest of the experience will remain largely the same, and that turns me away, but maybe it keeps their core fan base happy.
Yeah, I think the best way, and it might mess up a lot of the nostalgia factor, but the best way to really reinvent this is to take out a lot of the RPG elements and make this more action. If I'm hitting in command buttons and combos to direct my Pokemon to do, you know, these 4 different moves plus a couple like basic stuff, and then I have to really stun this other Pokemon with certain elements and stuff like that, like you see in Genshin Impact, right? And then I have to throw a Pokeball. Now we talking about a whole.
So you want direct control of the Pokemon,
son? Yes.
I mean, I don't want
to sit there and be like, all right, what we gonna do next? And the Pokemon saying like, what's he gonna do next? Yeah, I hate that.
Like Dark Tommy said the same thing. I want Pokemon with Dark Souls combat.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, but like that's too big a departure. I feel like that they wouldn't take that risk.
That's why I'm saying it would mess up a lot of the nostalgia factor, but I think it would generate a whole love for Pokemon.
How about you, Ash? You're the biggest Pokemon fan of all of us. Like, would you support a change that drastic to like a mainline Pokemon game?
Absolutely.
Pokemon Tournament was good about that too.
So here's some. Go. Actually, no. You finish, Blue, because I
it's definitely on you. I was just jumping. Something. All right. My bad.
Here we go. Let me tell you something. Let me talk to the people real quick. Okay. When I saw Legends Arceus, Jesus. And when I saw Legends Arceus, I was excited just to see something different. Okay. And I was hoping that maybe this game will be like a test, you know, where they see how well it does with its different mechanics and see if they want to start making the mainline games more like it. That's what I'm really hoping that they do with this. I don't want it to be I thought there was going to be another Let's Go, but apparently there isn't yet. So I don't want this to be like another side series of Pokemon Legends or anything. So at least from what they show, it shows an open world looking design type thing. The plots, at least from what we know so far, is that this is way back in the past. They're using like prototype type Pokeballs,
right?
And
yeah, it's
you're
like
supposed to be
like ancient Japan or something,
like feudal Japan looking anyway. And then there's like at least from the trailer, I think they said something about you're like creating the Pokedex basically. So you're going out, you're finding all the Pokemon and documenting them for the first time or whatever. I'm like, that's a cool thing. That's different. You know, it's a little bit different anyway, because before you just fill up the Pokedex, but at least the story is more revolved around.
Like it's not about
else.
you trying to beat the Elite Four and beat all these gym leaders, right?
You know,
like,
so it sounds like there's something different.
Yeah, that is encouraging.
They right now we haven't seen other trainers. Technically, I don't know if there's other battles with other trainers. Maybe you're the first trainer, kind of low key. I don't know. I've heard someone say that there's a rumor that there's like going to be kind of like in was it Sword and Shield with the Gigamax raid battle things, but like boss Pokemon, basically not that exactly, but there's going to be boss Pokemon basically that you have battles with instead of like other trainers or gym leaders. It'd be boss Pokemon. I'm also kind of okay with that. That's fine as long as they make it interesting and give that boss Pokemon some personality when I show up. Like you can tell it's the boss. Maybe it's around a pack of other Pokemon like it.
He's like throwing Pokemon at you.
Yeah. Like you walk up to it, there's a little cutscene that he's not wrong, and they like all come to defend their leader, and then you just see it like move its little arm of whatever Pokemon it is. Like if it's an Armaldo, it just moves on like whoosh, and they're like, oh, they get out of the way, right, and it comes, it got a scar. It's distinctive. So if you catch it, it's distinctive too from the other mons. That'd be kind of cool. It's not shiny, but it's distinctive. It has personality. It gives it some flavor. Whatever. I like the differences. I like that. Case Sigma, you remember I showed you too, and afterwards in a previous podcast, and I put the picture up of like Sword and Shield's map and how I thought they were going to do open world.
Yeah.
Even if they did something like that, they could have even kept it the traditional way and just do it like open sections where like, you know, there's two or three gyms in the area. And you can go in whatever order you want.
Then you move to a next section. Yeah. I wouldn't hate that either. As long as, like, we have more direct control over how we explore the world, how we interact with the Pokemon, how those fights happen, and you can do it with friends. Like let me go on a Pokemon journey with my buddies, like Ash does in the TV show.
Yeah.
Here's the issues for me, because actually, go ahead, Blue. I'll go first.
I just want to ask for too much real quick. I want different evolution animations as well. I hate how everybody looks exactly the same when it's like flash. It
looks like they're digivolving, low key.
Exactly. Like this is supposed to be, I don't know if it's necessarily magical, but it feels like it needs to be something genetic, like something that's organic coming out of them.
So you want like body horror in Pokemon.
Yeah,
like
just tiny bit.
You want like the nose to like stretch out and Pokemon to like scream in pain, like
you know, like Wartortle, right? I want to see when he transforms into Blastoise. I want to see the guns like just boom come out of his back. He's like, oh, you know, like I want.
Yeah, I mean that's lit.
Yeah, you're never gonna get that, but
that's why I said I like where you at. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you.
So,
go ahead.
Here's some of the issues on why they need to make these changes already. One. The open world thing is Pokemon. The fact that Pokemon in itself isn't open world is honestly surprising to me, because that's what you think of, especially when you're a kid and you want to play where you're like, I want to explore this world, find the Pokemon there. That's the whole, like, the creator of Pokemon, his thing was like, you know, going into the woods and finding the different bug stuff. No one told him which part of the woods he went to first. All right, then you just went and he went whatever direction you want. So that's why if they at least did the sections thing, I think that'd be cool. Second, PokeMMO is already a thing that somebody has made using Gen 3 assets, and you can play it online with your friends right now, easily trade, easily battle whoever you want, and go through the whole game. Not technically cooperatively, because it's still the same game, it didn't change anything, but you can still experience it with them right beside you, chatting on Discord, running around the world or on your bikes together, and starting like a guild somewhat even too. Fun. Good time.
Totally illegal.
But you don't have to do. I'm saying you don't have to do all that. But I'm saying it'd be easy if they can do that in this MMO, and you can play with a bunch of other people.
Then Nintendo
can at least make me like link up with 2 other players and just play through the game.
I don't know, man. They're not, super famous for their network connection. So
they aren't. and technically, Let's Go, you can do it with another person. It's super turned down on what the player 2 can do. It's still the player 1's experience, but it's still more engaging and being able to play with a friend that way. Second, there's another Pokemon fan made thing that you can play. I played a while ago. I don't know how much they've added to it or whatever. I'm not saying the names of these for reasons, but there's another one where literally, like Blue was saying, you're controlling the trainer. As soon as you pick your mon and throw it out, you are now controlling the mon, and then you go into battle. And graphically, it did not look bad. It honestly looked really well. This was another
fan thing.
Mm-hmm. And it actually looks pretty good. That makes it very annoying. So last but not least, the thing that bothers me the most, if anyone's ever played, I call it the Shadow Mon trilogy, even though there's only 2 games. I'm just praying that they make a third one. Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness were both developed by Genius Seniority, something like that was their name.
Mm-hmm.
Those were out of all the 3D models that Nintendo's put out, and this is dated. This was on the GameCube, so they did the best that they could on the GameCube, and I thought that those games looked really good graphically for GameCube games, especially for Pokemon games. I'd never seen Pokemon look like that. So we got that. And now they're resorted to doing Pokemon Cafe on mobile phones, and Nintendo hasn't given them anything else big to do with Pokemon, really, except for mobile games. Even though they did really well on 2 side spin-off games, they got mobile games. They must have gotten in trouble. I don't know, because that's all they get. And then we got Pokken, which obviously looks really good too. So I'm like, if you could get the people who did the Shadow Pokemon games, because they knew how to make in my opinion, engaging story that was different from just doing the usual 8 gym leader stuff. It had cool concepts and mechanics in it, blah blah blah, and really interesting characters. Mirror B is hilarious. Man got a huge red and white afro and just comes up to you dancing in his 70s wardrobe and disco. And then we got Pokken, who clearly know how to do more modern day stuff when it comes to really good looking 3D graphics. If we put those 2 together, they can make an amazing Pokemon game. But we're not doing that because they hate me. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Not really, but I'm gonna stop.
No, I can feel the passion.
Yeah.
Pokemon fans have been asking for just better than what they've been getting for years now. The problem though is that they tend to just keep taking what they get. And so Nintendo doesn't, I guess, push themselves. But I will say, of anything that they've done in the last couple of generations of Pokemon games, Legends Arceus does seem to be trying to do the most different. It's changing the story.
Excited,
it's changing some of the gameplay mechanics. I do want to see more. So yeah, if it turns out to be what I wanted a new Pokemon game to be, maybe I'll check it out. But I'm that much more skeptical than I was of Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield was kind of a bait and switch in my eyes. That looked like it was going to be something that it wasn't. But I don't know. Well, the jury's still out on that.
I was excited for the story for Sword and Shield too. As soon as they told, you can ask Kiba. I had so many ideas on how they could have did the story, because the whole thing is the brother of your rival is the champion, and he's undefeated. He's never lost a battle. I came up with so many ideas on how they could have spun the story to make it hilarious. Excuse me, the guy who's the announcer secretly hiding the fact that he did lose a battle at one point to whoever such and such, and it's a whole big ordeal because it's a whole sporting event in that game, right? Which I thought was cool too. So it's they keep that on the hush hush. You got the hush money paying people on the side, and or
Pokemon corruption.
Yeah,
right.
Pokemon.
And I didn't want. I don't think he was, which is good. I wanted the whole thing of Leon kind of not knowing something happened, and he's been lied to or whatever as well, and making him just a big part of that scheme of being undisputed when he's really not. All the fights against him been set up, for example. Literally, I thought.
I mean, yeah, that would have been an interesting plot line to dig into, but
he's just not that good. You get there and he's really just not. He's a fraud, but he doesn't even know. He's been set up this whole time to think he's really good and that he's a champion, because they've just been letting him win along the way. The whole thing's fixed, almost like if it's no offense.
What if
the people who go ahead?
What if he was a Pokemon and he didn't know, and he was mad powerful, right? You see what I'm saying? Okay, and that's why they've been letting him win, because he's going to Earth.
Right.
If he got, see, that's where
we're way over time, and it's starting to show. So So let's go ahead and wrap up this show. Blue, what do you have for people to look forward to in terms of content? Where can they find your stuff?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Blue Bones, BLUB0 at NES. I got over.
Oh, you're like cutting it out for a little bit.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Yeah, just start that over, I guess.
Okay, one more again. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
My name is Blue Bones, BLUB0 NES. You can catch me this week on Wednesday. We're probably going to be doing Overwatch again. We call it Over Wednesdays. I don't know that. I don't like the title, but it's working. Because sometimes you just over Wednesday and you just need to get it out. So we've been playing that. Last week, we had a really good set of games. I think we went like 7-2, and the 2 that we lost were super close. So shout out to the squad on that one. And then Friday, we're going to have Mr. Bones and the Bandit King, where I play with my boy Matt. We're playing Bikes and Knights right now. It's such a cute game that's starting to turn creepy and dark. So we're really excited to get into this. It's a dope co-op game that we're going through. We just finished A Way Out, which was hilarious. If you have a chance to go back and watch the finale was great. There's some really fun clips too, so definitely check out my Twitch channel on there. And then last but not least, Free For All Fridays. Once again, last week we did Killer Queen Black, and we had a whole bunch of fun. Sigma was there,
yeah, it was
and we're definitely gonna do it again. Yeah, it's cross platform too. So if you guys are on PC or on Xbox, I don't know if they have it on PlayStation 4. I'm sure they do.
They would have to, I would assume.
Yeah, it just probably isn't included with nothing.
Probably not.
But anyway, yeah. If you guys play, you should definitely join. Yeah, definitely join in. The Free For All Fridays are always yeah.
Nice. Ash, how about you? Where can people find you and your work?
All right, so this is what y'all need to do. Okay, see this name right there, right above me? Type that into your search bar for Twitch right above you. Don't hit enter yet. Wait till the podcast is done. As soon as the podcast completes, hit the magnifying glass. Will take you right to my page on Twitch. Okay. And just hit the follow button. Okay, because you know you want to follow me. You know you also enjoyed hearing me today. You want to hear more of what I got to say. just come on through. Listen, we doing the hardcore Nuzlocke Pokemon Fire Red race tonight. That's at 9 p.m. Excuse me. And then Monday through Friday, right now, I'm actually just running through Fire Emblem Three Houses because, like I said, I waited 2 years and I'm gonna play that game. I'm gonna play that game.
I'm in like the last couple hours of that game. I just need to finish it off.
Do it, bro. Do it. And then lastly, Saturday is kind of the day where it's the variety day. Usually we've been playing mostly like Need for Speed Heat. Yesterday, me and Kiva played some FIFA Volta, which is lit. We do FIFA Volta. It's not regular FIFA games. It's Street. Mm-hmm. So you get to do all the fancy tricks and stuff. And
I didn't even know they had that,
bro. I'm in there in my Gucci slides with the socks on and styling on people. It's amazing. I'm not.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that one.
When I tell you I got that gear, it doesn't give you stats in it. It's just like cosmetic, but they rank it.
That's even better.
And I was like, oh, I just got blue flip flops. And I saw it said legendary. I'm like, these ain't just your average flip flops. These some Gucci slides right here, boy. And I put them on, and you can choose if you want your socks or not on. So I'll be telling keep them like, yeah, bro, I'm about to style these fools with these Gucci slides on, bro. You ain't never seen somebody doing all the tricks I'm doing in slides. I'm like, if somebody can do these tricks in slides,
if you don't trip and a slide fall off, like it's not real. This
is really not. I need to see a slide go real through the atmosphere.
Or like he take one off, try to throw at somebody who's like dribbling the ball away.
That's a foul.
That'd be great. It was like every time at least when I took a shot, the slide like go off with my foot, and you see me like go get it after I get the shot. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, no, I think it's actually really cool. It's really fun. So Saturdays is like Need for Speed Heat, that maybe Call of Duty, Dead by Daylight. It can be almost anything, but it's usually done like rotation of games. Nice. So make sure, like I said, type this name right there, spell exactly like that. Type it in the search bar, and when this is done, hit enter, and then also follow me on Twitter.
Do it. On Twitter Listen to this man. All right, so you guys are on my page right now. If you're not following, make sure you hit that follow button. Some of the folks in the chat have been using some of the new emotes that are there for subscribers. If you subscribe, you get access to some fun emotes. There's now a tier 2 emote, so if anybody wants to subscribe at tier 2, there's a really special emote there that you can use. Also, there's some bits emotes that I added because I saw that was a thing. So like,
yeah, man,
explore, figure out that stuff. And Pocket says, love the new emoji. Thank you so much. I knew you guys would like that. And Jesse's in the chat using them as well. So definitely subscribe if you need to emotes, find that stuff. Later today, Blue will be joining me. Ash will be joining me, and Jeff, who was in the chat earlier, will be joining us as well.
What?
Super Smash Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go for 3 hours. Show up early, get yourself a spot, and play some Smash matches with us.
It's gonna be a full house today. I could feel.
I'm ready to get clapped again, boys.
You did not do as bad as you were making it sound like you would last week.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you'll only go up from there.
Blue was like, no more 10 seconds to figure out the controls for this, man.
No, not even one.
He did a little too much for 10 seconds. Yeah. That's all I had, though. It's okay.
So, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Follow my Twitter as well to see all the other stuff I'm doing. We just finished A Marvelous Escape, which is the Marvel show podcast I do with Jack Packard and Darren Mooney. We'll be starting Winter and the Falcon Soldier is what I was about to say. We'll be starting Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Next week, we'll be doing like a predictions video because that episode airs the following week. Where we'll actually break down the episode. So follow the Escapist Movies channel for that. Check out all of our game night streams. I was on just yesterday. We did a big Among Us stream with Yahtzee, with Jack, with the whole 3MR crew. Jesse was there. He says cries and no Switch because I guess he wanted to play.
I felt that. I felt that. Don't worry. I felt that for a long time.
So definitely check all that stuff out. Thanks to everybody in the chat for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Blue for coming through as a co-host. Thanks to Ash for coming through as a co-host. Really appreciate you guys. That's going to do it for episode 19. Peace.
Deuces.